Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Do What Podcast. I'm your host Harry D, and this time it's a super special episode. I am joined with my good friend, he's one of my brothers, he's in the group of guys that I always talk about on this podcast. It's the one and only Mr. Adam, Grizzly Bear Homer. How the hell are you doing, bro?
Yeah, man, really, really good. Really glad to be on, to be fair. It's been a while.
Dude, it's been so long.
Yeah, it has. And I've been keeping up to date with podcasts and been hoping to come on for a long time again after the last one, which must
Yeah,
have been a
I
good...
think you were on like episode 4 or 5.
It was really early on,
I'm
but
pretty sure this is like episode 31
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, you've done a lot in the meantime, and it's been
Yeah,
really, really
loads.
good.
Oh, glad you like it, man. I always look forward to your little comments and things on the episodes because I know you listen to them when you're like in the car. Is it?
Yeah, literally every day pretty much when you send out a new one. I just listen to it in the car, and it makes me laugh a lot, to be honest. It's like I'm in the conversation, but I'm not in the
Yeah,
conversation. It's really good.
that's what I. So I had Hamby on last week, and we were talking about that, and we were like, "Yeah, Adam's like talking long to us in the car while he's listening to the podcast." No, man. Honestly, it's good to have you back. So, for anyone who is new to the podcast or like a returning listener, we had a bit of a shake-up this year. Tomo has stepped down, although he's still sort of involved. We had a live stream on Friday, and me, Tomo, and Hamby all played the new Aliens Fireteam Elite game, which was a heap of shit, but quite fun, to be fair, when the three of you playing it. But Tomo's still around, he's just not co-hosting anymore. But yeah, so I've sort of changed things up a little bit. I've changed the format of the show, and I now have sort of a different guest every week, but hopefully like returning guests. So I'm hoping, Adam, that we can get you on more.
Yeah, I'd love to, honestly.
So I gave Adam a topic this week, and this episode has a topic. It has a title, which you've seen. But before we get into that, how's your week been, dude? What have you been up to?
Um, I mean, still sort of recovering from Christmas, to be honest. I ate so much food.
Yeah, feel that.
I feel like about 2 stone on over Christmas.
Yeah, man.
And I've really enjoyed just not eating much for the last few days and last week, to be honest.
Same, dude. Yeah,
Um,
same.
I mean, I went back to work last week and put my trousers on, and I put my belt 2 notches looser than it was before
No
Christmas.
way.
Yeah,
Dude, I literally cannot fit into the trousers that I wore before Christmas. Like
it's
I
tough.
when I put the button up, it like a comedy movie, it like pings open. So I now have to wear like a pair of like shitty jeans to work because I can't fit in my smart jeans anymore.
It's
It's
rough.
bad.
It is rough. But apart from that, um, I mean, I get a new dog on Saturday, which is really
Yeah,
exciting.
dude.
Um,
So in the last episode, I told Hamby that I'd been to see you. I've seen your house, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
super cool. And one of the things you told us is that you're getting a new dog.
yeah. So he's only 3 months old. I think by the time we get him, he'll be about 4 months old actually.
Yeah,
But he's a Romanian rescue dog,
cool.
and we're not quite sure what he is. But he looks like he'll be a cross between a husky and a Labrador, or a German Shepherd and a Labrador.
Oh,
He's
okay, yeah. So we had a brief chat before we started this pod, but I think in the last pod, I told Hamby that we thought he was like a German Shepherd
yeah,
cross lab or something.
yeah, lab.
But you've since done a bit more research, and you reckon he's husky lab.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put your finger on it because there's so many different things that go into it. But
Yeah,
I mean, at the moment we're thinking Husky Lab, which is a pretty cool combination, to be honest.
yeah, definitely super cool. Husky with anything is super cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Labradors as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how he turns out. But we're getting him Saturday, and we've
Yeah, man,
literally just got everything sorted so far, all his bed,
nice.
toys. It's exciting. Just
Yeah,
missing the dog
yeah,
now.
yeah. So you grew up with a lab, didn't you? That's why you're partial to labs.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I've had Marty, and Marty's
Yep.
13 this year.
No way.
Yeah, so he's getting on.
Damn.
He's
He
getting on,
is.
and he's still going strong. I mean, bless him. He's put a lot of weight on recently. The
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year, he's like a massive sausage. He's a chunky boy.
What a dog. So Adam is a guitar player. I don't know if I should say is or was, but is the guitar player in our band that we, you know, started back in like 2010 or something and did it for a few years, semi-successfully. And the third song we ever wrote,
it was early.
Was a song called Marty the Dog, which was literally like an ode to your dog and how cool he was.
And, well, 12 years later,
Yeah.
he's still going on. So, he's an old boy now.
Nice. Yeah, nice, man. Super cool. It was a weirdly popular song, that was, as well. I mean, it was shit.
Yeah, you listen back to it now, it's probably shockingly shit, but
Yeah.
when we were about 15,
like,
it was awesome.
Yeah, that's it. We thought it was like amazing, and like we had one fan who just requested that we play it over and over again.
Steve's mom.
Yeah.
Who also got her own song.
Steve's mom had a song about her too. It was Jane. It was Steve's mom's song, which she hated.
She did not like it.
Like hid away when we played it. And then when we were at that festival the one time, and I said, "This one's for Steve's mom," she like hated it apparently. And she was like, "Why did you say that?"
I mean, it would have been good if she got up onto stage and sort of crowd surf. That would have been ideal.
Yeah, definitely.
It didn't go that way.
Like head banging or something. Yeah, man. Anyway, the dog, really cool, dude. I remember when we got Zeph, there was probably like 12 hours from us going, should we get a dog? To actually picking him up. And it was just so exciting. So I don't know how you're hanging on, having, prolonging that just for weeks or however.
I mean, it is tough, but I mean, you guys getting it, getting Zeph out soon just sums you up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally. It was, like I said, we went to a party, and this dog at the party, like, spent a lot of its time with us. And we were like, oh, that dog's cool, And on the way home, Fee was like, I wish we could get a dog. And I was like, yeah, we can. And it was like, oh, yeah. And then we just spent all night looking for a dog, and luckily we found, like, a Welsh farmer who was like, I got loads of them, come get him. And, yeah, just literally went and got him. And I've said this to Adam, I said the other day, Zeph's name on his certificate whatnot was Grizz, which is your nickname. So, yeah, meant to be.
It's meant to be, yeah, it's meant to be.
So what's your dog called? Because I know he's got a cool name.
So, I mean, I named Marty when he was a puppy.
Yeah.
There's something about dog names that begin with M. I just like the sound of. And I was searching and searching and searching for dog names. And there's so many generic ones out there.
There are, yeah.
And I was scrolling. And I came to this one. And I was like, that's for one. And his name is going to be Moose.
Great name, dude. Great name.
He's going to be a big boy.
I told Hamby that as well. And he was like, yeah, great name.
I was like, it's just fitting for him. You see the name, you see the photo of him, and it just fits.
Yeah. So great name. Speaking of the photo, I've only seen like 2 pictures or something. Have you got any more? Have you got like videos of him and stuff that I've sent you? How's it all working? Because we were looking into adopting a Romanian dog a while back. We were looking at getting an older dog to sort of show Zeph the ropes a little bit. But it just didn't materialise. We didn't do it. Because I think we were like, one dog's enough, to be honest. But yeah, how did it all come about?
So, the shelter, we're a charity. They were quite close to where we used to live before we moved house. So we sort of kept tabs on them for a few years through Facebook. And we both got quite a few family friends that have got dogs from the shelter and really recommended them. So, I mean, we've been hoping to get a dog for a long time now, but it's sort of been the right time.
Yeah, and man, in your new house.
Exactly. It's a perfect place to have one. But what we literally do is we just take photos of the dogs I've rescued in Romania, because they literally treat them like rats, really, in Romania.
Yeah.
Because they're so overrun with dogs. They treat them like vermin. So there's so many strays. But we literally take a photo of them, rescue them, be like, oh, does anybody want this dog? And they'll give them like a temporary name. So Moose's temporary name's Gabriel, which I hate.
Cool. Oh, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I was like, I could call him Gabe, but... but you literally put an application form in, your details, your job, what you do for work, all this different stuff, where you live. And then they come and do like a house inspection.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we did it online, but usually when it's not COVID, they come in person.
Yeah.
But you literally show them around the house on FaceTime. Had like a half an hour, 40-minute chat, showed them the gardens.
Okay. Cool.
And they're just sort of seeing what sort of people you are, really, before they decide if they want to give you, one of their dogs. And then it literally is a waiting game. You wait for them to come over. And it's crazy to be honest. They get driven over from Romania, and it's like a 2 day drive.
Yeah.
So by the time the dogs come, they're really sick. They've been in this van for days.
I bet he's going to hate cars for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, he's only, like I said, he's only 3, 4 months old,
Yeah.
which is a really good age because, when you get
Well,
a
yeah,
puppy,
yeah.
usually they're like 2 months old.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's only a little bit older, so we'll be able to settle him in well to the house.
Yeah, definitely.
Where with an
He'll
old,
adapt.
he'll be able to adapt easier. With like an older dog, it's harder to sort of break, their
Definitely set in
experiences
their
they've
ways
had.
and things,
Yeah,
yeah.
if they've had a bad experience, it's hard to
So
sort of.
I think it's really good that they make it that easy because I've said on the pod before, but me and Fee tried to adopt a dog through Battersea or one of the other sort of Dogs Trust or whatever it's called, the big charities in this country, and they just made it so hard, and there were so many things you had to do, and then they're like, I mean, for example, I'm still on the waiting list for Battersea Dogs Home.
Yeah.
I just didn't bother cancelling it, but I get that, you don't want to buy a dog. I want to help a dog, adopt a dog. So we were going to go for an older dog, but they made it so difficult that we were like, right, well, our only other option literally is to buy a dog.
I mean, I've heard of from other people as well. Our neighbour came round.
You think they'd make it easy. You think they'd be
I
like,
know,
right,
it's
let's
stupid,
check your house, and let's a loving home for this dog. So let's get him out there, so we're not It's almost like they're keeping them back.
Yeah, and you'd think they'd want to get them out as soon as possible into a good home, wouldn't you?
That's it. Yeah. And I understand they got to do the checks and everything, but come on. I mean, it's been over a year now. If we're talking Battersea, it's been over a year since I started all the applications and everything. Zeph is going to be 2 this year, so that's mad. But it all went the way it went, and I wouldn't change it for a thing. Zeph
No, definitely not.
Such a dog, such a personality, and looking forward to when Moose is
Meeting up,
adapted a bit more. Yeah, meeting up, and I've said to Hamby on the last pod, we're gonna have a bit of a doggy meet, all the boys and their dogs. Honestly,
that'd be awesome.
Man. Yeah, defo. He looks like he's going to be a big boy.
Yeah,
he's got
he is.
Big legs and big paws and things. Yeah,
he's going to be chunky. It'll be interesting when we see him because the photos we've got, and we do have a few videos actually. I don't think you've seen.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen
that they sent us after you came.
Right, nice.
And I mean, I think the photo you see makes him look bigger than he actually is at the moment. But I think by the time he comes, he's going to be a big boy.
Yeah,
and he will grow into a big boy.
Yeah, I think he will. They're big dog breeds anyway. Huskies and Labs, I think, are both classed as big dogs.
Yeah.
Because I always remember collies being big dogs, but they're classed as mediums. And Zeph, I would say he's like a small dog, but he's a big collie. It's weird. I don't know whether collies have just gotten smaller over the years, or I've gotten bigger, or something.
I think it's because when we were kids as well, you sort of see a lot of people with collies when we're kids.
Yeah.
You don't see many people with collies nowadays. But when you're a kid,
I grew up.
You expect it to be a big dog. You sort of that's what you relate it to.
Yeah, I grew up with a collie. My dad had 2 collies at one point, and I just remember them being big dogs. Yeah, and it's weird you say that you don't see that many people with collies, because you don't. But when you do, it's like you're part of a club.
Yeah, secret society.
Because the collies behave the same way. Collies are not hunting, they're working dogs. They're down. They're constantly doing stuff, and it's like. And it's like the collies know that they're collies as well, and they're just, it's just, it's cool.
They've got a secret handshake.
Club. Basically, yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's obviously really great.
Yeah.
You're getting.
I'm buzzing for it.
Like I say, you're in your place now. You have the sister. Our cats are sisters.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So you're getting a dog. You're in your house. I said to Hamby the other week, your house is really cool. It's quirky.
It's very quirky.
I said you won't mind me saying that.
No, it is very quirky. Yeah, it's one of the reasons we went for it.
Really like the living room. Really like all the space you've got in there.
Yeah,
it actually persuaded us after we left your house, because your house looked like someone had been living there for a year. You've been living there for a year is what it looked like. We still got boxes in our house, and we've been at ours for 4 months or so, 5 months. So after we went to your house, that literally inspired us to get our shit together, and we spent a few days completely redoing our house, and you haven't seen any like before pictures, but we've changed a lot of stuff. So yeah, like making it look a bit more lived in, a bit more like, like a home. Your house genuinely felt like a home. It was really
I
nice.
mean, that's nice to hear. To be fair, because when I look at it, I still think like it's like a blank canvas. Still, I'm like, oh, that still needs to go there. Needs to go there. I need some paint, and it's sort of annoying me. It's all the same color, and it's all like plain.
I get that, but I think there's something. I always used to hate white walls. I used to hate. I gotta have color walls and blah blah blah. But there's something about that sort of like pure white with art and stuff on it now that I kind of really like. Like, we're going to paint our house, and I'm sort of holding off a little bit from it now because I don't know. Like, well, I mean, you'll see when you come around. We've redone the kitchen, and yeah, quite enjoying the clean freshness of it all.
Yeah, I mean that's what.
And I think the light colours in your house works really well.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's like persuaded me sort of not painting it soon is like it does. Well, especially this time of year when it's dark anyway. The house is quite dark.
Yeah.
It literally gets like no sun on the front or the back because it sort of sets on the side and rises on the side.
Right, yeah.
So it's like dark all day long, and I think it's sort of putting us off painting for now anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, loads of like weird little alcoves and things in your house.
Yeah, it is definitely quirky. The thing that's weird is when I first saw it, I was like, this looks really small. Because there are certain bits where it's like lower ceilings, like the hallway.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be quite small. And like, it's really weirdly laid out. But once we've been living here like 2 months, it just seems normal now.
Yeah. I really like the use of space, in your
It's
house.
had to like duck down like every single doorway.
Man,
That's really thick.
You're taller than me, and it's going to be tricky when you've had a few to drink. Like,
yeah, I mean, my mom.
You're going to mark your head on that.
My mom and dad came over Christmas, and they brought Emily and Tim, my brother and sister, over. It was the first time they'd seen it, and Emily walked up the stairs, and literally every single person that's come to the house, I've said, "Oh, no, watch your head," because it is quite low, and everybody's either lowered their head anyway, or we're not tall enough to bang their head. And Emily's quite tall, and I didn't say it to her. She walked straight up and literally knocked herself out.
Oh
yeah,
no! Really?
Like she full on like went headfirst into it hard.
Oh, damn!
I mean, I did laugh.
Put like a little foam thing there, or just leave, or just
leave it. Yeah, it's one of the quirks.
Yeah, yeah, man, definitely.
Once you bang your head once, you won't do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, man, really cool. I mean, I haven't done anything as cool as that this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, you been up to much or not?
Just working. First week back at work this week. So, just working and, like I said, doing stuff up on the house, fixing stuff up. I've also, as I've been going around the shops, I've been seeing things that you've got in your house, so I now know where you've bought some of the things from. That big picture of LA and London or whatever, for example, that you've got upstairs.
Yeah,
where you bought that from.
The London one, I don't know where we got that from actually, because Hannah's had it for a few years, but the LA one,
oh, okay,
I really like that one. It's really cool.
Yeah. I've been doing loads. I've got two paintings from the same place right next to me that are unopened because I can't figure out where to put them, like Japanese fish, and I just don't know where.
The worst part is putting them up there by far. It's the worst part.
Mate, I mean, I'm not going to go into it because I spoke about it massively in the last podcast, but putting things up has been tough for me. We bodged the hell out of a TV wall mountain.
I literally bodged the hell out of putting like a hook on the wall earlier for the dog lead, and I've left like a massive gaping hole in the brickwork, and it looks like
shit.
Well,
it's your house, just get yourself some polyfiller and slam that thing in, man. Yeah. I'm like Captain Bodge. Like, I will bodge the hell out of, like, the finished product will always look amazing, but it's going to be risky getting
getting to that point is pretty dodgy.
Yeah. Fee was almost in tears when it came to setting this wall mount up. Honestly, I do not want to touch the TV now. I'm that worried about it.
No,
it's still there, so yeah. I'll show you when you come round. Like, if you peek around the back, you can see the mess I've made, and it's like, oof.
Well, you don't look around the back of a TV anyway, so
yeah,
pretend it's not there.
Other than that, under the sort of guidance, the guiding eye of my good friend Ben Thorne Williams, and Hamby, I've been sort of getting into the crypto a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Not massively, because I kind of don't want to. But I have put, I've bought a couple of shares in a couple of different companies. I've put some money into a few different cryptocurrencies and then moved them around and put them into different things, and I'm now just sort of holding cryptocurrency, hoping that, in like 10 years I'll have a few more quid than I do now. It's one of those things where I feel like it's all or nothing. You have to be 100%
100%,
in on
definitely.
it. Or you can basically just put the money in and sit back. And I'm sort of... I am taking my mate Ben. I don't know if you've ever met him.
Yeah, I met Ben once. A long time ago.
He's absolutely on it. When he sets his mind on something, he is like laser focus. And he's been giving me some great information and stuff. And you can just see how he's, making money off of it. And I am going to have him back, everyone, for... He's actually been on a pod talking about his crypto. We're going to have him back.
It's his weekly segment.
Yeah. Ben's Crypto Time, Crypto Countdown, Crypto Conundrums. We're going to have him back to discuss how it's going, because he's making good progress. I hear he's into
good.
NFTs a lot now.
I think it is one of those things that some people can wing, but you ultimately need to know what you're doing.
I think some people can wing it back in 2009.
Yeah, not now.
When
everybody's
Bitcoin
on it.
Was like, when you could put I'll buy like 40 Bitcoin for £1, and now, I've got 400 million.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, when we were in the last lockdown, sort of January to April last year, I was off work and I was so bored.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Xbox, but there's only so much Xbox you can play before you get bored.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get into something that I can do from home, that'll occupy me and I can learn. So I started looking at the stock market, and I mean, it literally is like a rabbit hole. Once you get into it, there's just more and more to read, more to learn, more to know. Yeah. And I was spending like countless hours reading. And I was like, I've got no idea what this stuff means, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to pretend I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I started using Trading 212. I don't know if you've ever used it before.
I haven't. I've used similar apps, but different apps.
It is good. I've tried to do a few different apps. That's probably the most user friendly, but usable as well. And the thing I had with it is I started putting some money in, not loads of money, like 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'm making some money here. So you put a bit more in. And then it goes down. You're like, oh shit, better take it out. I was impatient with it because it literally is like a minute by minute thing with the stock market. It's constantly going up and down. And when I wasn't at work, you're always watching it on your phone. You're like,
yeah. So I've been doing that, and I kind of want to step away from that a little bit. So what I've done is I had about 4 or 5 different cryptos. I've sold all of it, put it all into either Bitcoin. There's one called Bitcoin, there's one called Algorand, and there's one called Cosmos Atom. I put it all into those 3, and now I am earning, but I'm just earning from holding them.
Yeah.
I'm staking them, which I think means I'm letting people use my physical but non-physical coins, and I'm just sort of earning little bits from doing that. And I think until I hear from Ben again, I'm just going to sort of leave it at that, because I was literally checking my phone. There's a site called Free Shares or something where you can buy companies, and I've bought shares in a Canadian medicinal marijuana company because that's going to be big, surely. So I bought 4 or 5 shares because they were down to 20p, and it's creeping up slowly. But I'm just going to leave it.
That is a thing. I mean, it's pretty well documented. In most things, in the stock market in general, you leave your money in it. And over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you will make some money. But it's when you put it in, you're like, if I made some money today or tomorrow, and it's
well, that's the thing.
It's a long game, not a short game.
You can make a lot of money. Well, no, sorry, you can make money constantly, but you have to then deal with smaller amounts of money.
Yeah.
And it's if you buy something for half a penny and you sell it for a penny, you've made profit on that. And you have to do that loads and loads and loads to earn, to make money on it. And I just can't be bothered to do that.
No.
I'm just going to chuck some in and then leave it there. I think.
It's one of those things you have to do as a 24/7 job. is be on it. Otherwise, there's
definitely.
no point doing it that way.
It was hilarious as well because as soon as me and Hamby got into it a couple of weeks before me, but then I got into it as well. And as soon as we both really got into it and we're talking about it every day, the whole market crashed. Like, the whole Bitcoin, everything crashed, and it's on the news and stuff. Like everything dropped massively. And I only lost about £2, but I think Hamby lost about 5 or something. And he was like, "You know what? Crypto sucks, man."
That sort of happened.
Speaking of crypto, though, I'm hoping to have one of Fee's youngest sister's boyfriend has just started his own business dealing with crypto.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's basically like an estate agent's, but it's using crypto. It's called yourcryptohome.com, and like our house is actually on it. Like,
does he work from home? Does he do this?
I don't know. I think he's at the moment. It's like a side biz.
It's like a Wolf of Wall Street sort of thing.
He is, man. He's like a Canary Wharf London businessman.
Okay.
They live in London, and yeah, like he's just starting it all up. And yeah, you've got the costs of the houses in Bitcoin, in Ethereum. It's cool. And he said he would come on the pod, so hopefully we'll have him on the pod at some point to sort of explain that further.
That'd be interesting.
I think he wants to start a pod to do with crypto as well.
Yeah.
Mate, we're coming up on like 30 minutes, and we haven't even got to the first segment of this show yet. I'm dying of thirst, so before we get into the movie news and stuff, let's jump into everyone's favourite segment. It's What Are We Drinking?
What are we drinking?
Okay, I have an interesting drink. You have an interesting drink as well. Is that water? What are you drinking now?
It is water now, yeah. It wasn't
What the
before.
hell, man? You can't be drinking water. You can't be drinking water on What Are We Drinking?
I've already drank my drink.
Okay, so you had before we jump into mine, because I've got a bit of I haven't just got like Budweiser or something this week. You had what were you drinking, bro?
I had it's a drink that was introduced to me by one of our friends, Steve, which is Captain Morgan's Tiki, which is mango and pineapple flavored rum. I mean, it's not as strong as usual Captain Morgan's. It's only like 26%, but it tastes good.
Nice.
I mean, with lemonade, it's delicious, but I had it with Pepsi tonight.
I'm really looking forward to trying that. I've been meaning to try it for ages.
To be fair, I mean,
it looks good.
I love beer, but in terms of spirits, I'm not really a fan. Not last few years anyway, since I've got older, but it doesn't taste like you're drinking alcohol whatsoever, I totally get that, but it's delicious.
Okay, I'm looking forward to trying that with some lemonade. I think I might have to buy myself a bottle.
Definitely do it, mate. Nice. Definitely do it.
I've heard so many people tell me how good it is. So yeah, and I love mango. I love, not so big on pineapple, but like together I can imagine.
It's more mango really.
All right, so I have a bit of a special beer. In last week's episode, Hamby was telling us all about the wonderful world of Aldi beers. He had just like an American IPA. So I went to Aldi and I bought myself an Aldi beer. And today I'm drinking Ghost Dance.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
Chinook Pale Ale.
That looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's got like a Native American man on there. Chinook Pale Ale. Guess where it's brewed?
Go on.
Warwick.
Chinook in Warwick.
Yeah, it's brewed in Warwick, which is kind of weird, but it's a 5.3. I actually thought it was less than that. It's ice cold. It's got condensation all over the can. I'm going to crack it and have a swig and let you know what I think of it.
I want to know, because that looks pretty good.
Yeah, Pale Ale. It just says New World Pale Ale. Galena, Amarillo, and Chinook hops combine to bring this bold New World IPA to life and deliver a powerful hit of exciting hop character. The Ghost Dance shall reunite the living and the dead to bring peace, prosperity, and unity to Chinookan tribes.
Wow, in Warwickshire.
In Warwick. Yeah. Okay, fizzy.
I'm very interested.
It's nice. It's what I like. It's what I like in a pale ale. It's very hoppy.
Fruity.
It has a bit of a weird. Yeah, it's hoppy. It's fruity. It's got this big punch to start with. Really nice. And then, to be fair, it's sort of like disappears fast and leaves you with like a very thin, tinny taste, which I'm not 100% on. Let me just
so the first half of it is nice, the second half is shit.
The first half is delicious. Yeah, the aftertaste isn't great. So this is specifically brewed for Aldi. It's not. I don't think it's available anywhere else. It's all right. I would say that the can and everything make it look so much better than.
Yeah, the can is pretty badass, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what was Hamby's take on the beer from last week?
I think he just said it's like a standard IPA. It said it tasted like Shipyard.
Okay.
Because the thing with Aldi is all of their beers, except for a lot of these craft cans, a lot of their main beers are all just knockoffs of other ones.
Yeah.
So he said they've got one called like, Kronenberg.
Yeah.
They've got one called like something like 1887 or something there, which is they've got one. There's a Hoegaarden knockoff called like Who Deer or something. It's the same bottle, same text and everything, but he thought it was all right. I was drinking a Sol last week.
Oh, I do like a Sol.
But yeah, no, this is all right. I drink it. I will give it a 4 out of 10.
Ooh. The can's a 10 out of 10, I'd say.
The can is a 10 out of 10. It's super cool. But yeah, unfortunate. But hey, they can't all be hits.
No, that looks like, upper market, that does.
It does. It was a pound. It was like £1.10 for that, which I think is probably a lot. But considering it's only a little 330ml can.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is I've had... I don't know if I told you about it. I did the Beer 52 thing for a while.
No.
Where they post you out like specialty ales and things. And Hamby did like a German one.
Yeah, I know. Hamby did the German. Didn't he do the Advent calendar?
Yeah, so we've both had... I know I talk about Hamby a lot. It's because Hamby's like one of my main guests. We've both had a lot of specialty beers recently, and I've had things that are way nicer. But I give that a 4 out of 10. I'll drink it. I would still rather drink that over a lager any day of the week.
Fair enough.
Mate, that was a pretty good What We Drinking. I think we should leave that one there and move on.
What are we drinking?
Okay, so as I said, the podcast has been sort of mixed up slightly. What I've done is I've combined the old Dude What podcast with the Harry's Half Hour podcast, and what I've done is rather than us drink way too many beers and watch a crappy film and struggle to explain it, I've sort of thrown out that whole bit where you watch a film, and I've put the Harry's Half Hour thing in there. So over the course of the last week, I have made a note of a few of my favourite or sort of most notable news stories over the last week. And I'm just going to run through them now, and maybe we'll have a little bit of a chat about some.
Yeah, do it, man. Do it.
If you find them interesting. So, first piece of news. Actor, comedian, and star of the show Full House, the US sort of sitcom, Bob Saget has died, age 65. Now, Bob Saget isn't really a big deal here in the US, here in the UK. The only way I have heard of Bob Saget is, do you remember the Tourette's guy?
Yes, I do. Literally, I did see this morning as well. And that's the first thing I thought of. It's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah. So if for anyone who hasn't seen that, sort of early days of YouTube, there was a guy on there called the Tourette's guy. And he was like an older guy, but he always had like a neck brace on.
Yeah.
But half the people thought he was fake. Half the people thought he was real. And then he like mysteriously disappeared, and there's a whole conspiracy about where he went.
Yeah, there was like a big conspiracy about it, wasn't there?
Yeah. He's like spotted in the background of other videos and stuff. But anyway, his whole deal is that he has Tourette's and he just does things, and it's like his son is recording it. But the reason why it's funny is because a lot of the time his wife is trying to get him to stop swearing. So rather than like shout swears, he just shouts Bob Saget all the time. It's like one of his things. It's like where he's getting chased by a bee and he's just running around going, Bob Saget!
It literally was like the very early days of YouTube as well. Like, he must have been about massively. 12.
Yeah.
Not even that, maybe. I remember it was like one of the first videos I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, just watching the Tourette's guy like supercuts. It was my dad who showed me the Tourette's guy, like on YouTube, early days. Because I remember when my dad discovered YouTube, and he was like, "It's for musicians, and we show each other like music things." And that's what it was. Like, there was nothing on there. Same with Spotify. You know, Dad was like, have you heard of this thing called Spotify? And I was like, no. Anyway, next little bit of news. Another death, unfortunately. Legendary actor Sidney Pottier, I think I'm saying that right, has died. Age, damn, I didn't write down his age. Pretty old. He was the first black man to win the Best Actor award at the Academy Awards back in 1964 for a film called Lilies of the Field, I believe. Just sort of one of these like absolute legendary actors, and like very sad. A lot of people really sad by it. I'm sure there's going to be some big remembrance things going on for him soon, because he was a big deal.
Yeah, I did see about that this morning as well, and I was obviously somebody else. Well, I hadn't heard of him, to be honest. But he obviously made a big sort of impact in the early days.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, huge. An icon for sure. Sorry if we're speeding through this a bit fast, but next little bit of news. Have you watched the TV show called The Boys on Amazon?
You know what? I actually haven't.
No way,
No,
really?
I haven't, no. I mean, I've had so many people recommended it to me.
Yeah,
and
it's good, man. It's very good.
Yeah, it is up there. I mean, it's sort of on my list to do next, to be honest. I'm watching through Daredevil again at the moment.
No way, are you?
Yeah, I'm a Punisher, so
Okay,
that is on my sort of to-do list. It's just
I stopped
getting longer and
watching
longer.
Daredevil at the end of season 2, and I haven't been bothered to watch season 3.
Yeah, I did get to season 2 as well, and I just gave up for some reason. I don't know why, because I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I think the reason I stopped is because they were like, it's cancelled, and I was like, oh, what's the point then? But now with, no spoilers, but now with things that may have happened in a recent Marvel film, maybe there's reason to start watching it again.
Massively.
So yeah, The Boys. Really good, man. Like a good take on the superhero genre. Some great actors in there, some great performances. Season 3 has finally been given a release date. It's coming out June 3rd.
Yeah, I will have to watch the first 2 seasons before then. I've got plenty of time.
Yeah. You'll have to check it out. I think there's only like maybe 10 episodes per season.
Yeah, my brother absolutely loves it. He bangs on to me about it all the time.
It's really good, man. It's like super gory, super funny, super violent superheroes. You know, that should be the tagline for the film, for the show. Really good.
No, I'll have to make it a priority.
Yeah, man. Defo. Next little bit of news. There's a few Marvel things on here, actually. The Marvel film Morbius. I don't know if you know about it, if you're hyped for it or anything like that. It's the sort of Jared Leto is a big vampire man thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of these
That
like
hasn't sold it to me already.
Sony-verse things. Sony, you know, and like I gotta be honest, apart from his performance in Dallas Buyers Club, I really don't like Jared Leto.
No, I mean, that was a great film as well, Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just his like, I'm so method, I'm crazy, like I get in the role, I send people dead rats and stuff. Like
It is too much, and it's not convincing as well either.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he obviously puts a lot of effort into it, but I just don't buy it.
Yeah, I hear that his performance alone is one of the worst things about that new House of Gucci film that just came out with Gaga in it and Pacino and all those guys. It's supposed to be a good film, but like for some reason he's doing this like super stereotypical "It's a me Mario" Italian accent the whole way through, wearing a big fat suit, and it's just like no. But anyway, yeah, it was supposed to come out like January 28th, end of this month.
Okay.
It's been delayed. It's been delayed because apparently the rumours are, and I've seen a couple of different things for this. One site is saying that it's a rumour, the other site is saying it's confirmed. Rumours are that, alright, spoilers right now for the new Spider-Man Far From Home. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, skip ahead like 5 minutes, alright? Genuinely, I don't want to spoil this for you. Okay, you've been warned. Rumours are that they are pushing it back so that Andrew Garfield, who once was Spider-Man, can get some scenes in it.
Oh,
because
that's juicy.
his performance went down so well.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good.
And it made people who hated those Amazing Spider-Man films, like myself, really like him as Spider-Man.
I'm in the exact same boat there as well. I mean, I think he did pull it out of the park, and I've seen so many things, people sort of asking for an Amazing Spider-Man 3, and they just want more of it.
I'd be down for him, yeah. I think it's his acting, but I also feel like they wrote him so much better than they did his actual films.
Definitely, so much better.
So yeah, the rumor is that he went down so well that they're thinking, shit, like, let's cash in on this. Because it's a Sony movie, Morbius. It's like part of the Venom and all that stuff. So yeah, they're going to try and tie it to Garfield.
I just hope they don't write it in, because I mean, I know the Tom Holland films were good, but Sony in general, just like the Venom films,
not good.
No.
Yeah, Venom
they're just
sucks.
not there. It could be really so much better than they are.
Yeah, just do more deals with Marvel, like, together.
It clearly works, and they clearly both make a hell of a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, well, I said in the last pod, Spider-Man 3, as in, like, new Spider-Man 3, is Sony's biggest and best-selling film of all time. Like, it's their best film ever.
I'm not surprised.
And you know why? Because they gave the fans exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
With some twists. But anyway, don't know if it's a rumour. Don't know if it's legit. We'll have to just find out. Next little bit of news. More Marvel news. Again, there's a couple. The rest of this whole segment is Marvel news, actually. I like Marvel stuff, so, it's obviously stuff that gets to me first. But there is a teaser image of one of the Doctor Strange variants in the upcoming Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness film. If you stuck around after the end of Spider-Man, you will have seen the trailer.
Yeah, I did see it.
That was stuck at the end of the film. It also then came out like 2 days later. But in that we see the Superior Strange character, who is like an evil Doctor Strange, who may have been the same guy that's in the What If series. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't watched What If yet, no.
I haven't finished it, right, because I was like, cartoons. But actually, it's pretty good, and it does connect to everything.
Yeah, I've heard it's a bit hit and miss. There are some really good episodes and some weaker ones.
Definitely. But anyway, so there's a look at a new character called Defender Strange, and this dude literally looks exactly like Steven Seagal.
Yeah, he does.
Early Steven Seagal. Have you seen it? The Defender Strange picture? Yeah, man. He's got the little mustache, and he's got the ponytail hair. It's Steven Seagal. He's going to be slapping people's hands and stuff.
That'd be badass.
But yeah, it's a bit weird. People are saying, like, it's only a concept image, but people are like, what's with that hairline? It seems like Marvel can't quite get Benedict Cumberbatch's wigs right. They always, to me anyway, I'm always like, yeah, that's a wig. For all the Doctor Strange stuff. It's too much. It's like a helmet on his head. It's too much.
The last film as well, the last Spider-Man film, his hair was so black. It was just so obviously not real.
It's like a helmet. It's like, the thing is Cumberbatch has hair. Like, just use his hair, like, what's wrong with his hair?
It doesn't make the character any less better by using his real hair.
Did you see the super dyed beard in that trailer?
Yes.
Black beard.
Jet black.
So upcoming Doctor Strange movie, I'm hyped for it. I think it's going to be good. That film has also, rumours are that they are, following the success of Spider-Man, they are just filling that with cameos. So, honestly, like, anyone who's ever been in a Marvel property over the last 20 years, probably a good bet you're going to see him in this Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for that, because I think he's a really good character. It really is. He's definitely coming to his own doing it as well. Yeah,
definitely. Last little bit of movie news before we move on to the topic of today's podcast, coming up on an hour into it. Sony have officially cast actor Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter to star in a Kraven the Hunter spin-off film. Don't know if you're familiar with the character of Kraven. He's sort of a wild hunter, and he's all about hunting the best prize, and to him, Spider-Man is like the ultimate prize. So he hunts Spider-Man. There's a really famous comic called like Kraven's Last Hunt, which is pretty good. Not that I've read it, but I've heard that it's pretty good. And anyway, Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast. If you don't know who he is, he was the kid that was in Kick-Ass.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep, and he was also in that pretty bad Godzilla film.
I mean, he's been in a lot of films, but not a lot of good films.
Yeah. He's in a lot of stuff, but he's also like a background sort of guy in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Kick-Ass, he was a main character in it, and it was a Kick-Ass film.
Yeah, Kick-Ass was really good.
Absolutely great film. And I mean, he was young then. It was like the start of his career. He's never really kicked on from it, did he, really?
Yeah. Bit of a weird one. But a lot of people thought that they were going to cast Jason Momoa as Kraven, which would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, as I say, that's a drastic change.
Considering they look... Well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen a picture of Kraven, but it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, why didn't they just do that? But then, you know...
It makes a lot more sense than
Yeah.
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, again, it's a Sony film, so I don't really care. But if they have Spider-Man in it, I'll watch it. Definitely I'll watch it.
I think just with the Sony films in general, they're just not very dark and gritty, and they're not very realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, superheroes is not a realistic sort of genre anyway, but Marvel pulled all their majority of their films off really well, especially the later ones. And
there's only
it's like the Sony ones are going back to the gimmicky sort of, early 2000s sort of superhero films.
There's only a couple of real stinkers in Marvel's lineup. One of them was Eternals. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't. I was going to watch it, but seeing the reviews, I was like, I'm in no rush.
It comes to Disney Plus on the 12th.
Yeah.
So you can watch it then if you want. It's like 3 hours long, and it's cool, but it's not great.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, it doesn't really take the story anywhere. There's like, in that whole film, there's probably 10 minutes of like, really cool stuff. And that is literally like the post-credit sequence. The rest of the film is very like slow and peaceful and moving and thoughtful and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. But they've said that there is not going to be a sequel to that because it just...
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because most of the films, the first one sets the scene, sets up the characters, but 3 hours to do that is a long time.
Yeah, man. It's one of the... Like, I'm usually the sort of guy that I will plant my ass in a cinema seat, look at the screen, and then I'll be like, oh, credits, and I'll get up. But, I was literally shimmying, shaking, my ass was going numb, checking my watch, seeing what the time was. It's a long film.
The complete opposite of Spider-Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, defo. Okay, so the main point of this big podcast is I get guests on, I will give them a topic, and we'll have a great big discussion about it. As I said, I've got about 5 guys, Adam, you're one of them, that I'm hoping to have as recurring guests. So what I did before this episode was I tried to think of interesting topics and almost assign them to people. So I know that some people are more into other things than other people. Everyone's into everything to a certain extent, but for example, Hamby and Tomo, Hamby he knows everything about gaming. He is the man to know about, the man to ask about gaming companies and practices and things like that. I know more about films, and stuff like that. Well, I like to think I know a bit of everything. I'm good with trivia. If you've got a pub quiz team, you want me on your team. Let's just say that.
You're a good guy to have on that team.
But me and you were in a band together for the best part of 10 years. So I thought, you're the music man, and I've had some big conversations with you in the past about music, and I thought this topic is going to be super interesting because I bet you're going to have some great answers. And now that I've said that, I bet your answer is going to be now 87 or something. But anyway, the topic for this episode is albums you can't live without. So the premise is you've been exiled. You are sent to a desert island to live out the rest of your days. They've given you, the stuff you need to survive for at least a few years, healthy supply of rum, bit of shade,
Tiki.
Maybe, maybe a chessboard or something, and they've said here's a record player, a beefy sound system so you can really turn that shit
Crank
up.
it.
The island's got power. I don't know how. But you can only take 3 albums. So, long story short, the premise of this is what 3 albums can't you live without? Or what 3 albums would you take with you to a desert island? So, I don't know if you've heard the show Desert Island Discs, but that's basically what I'm ripping off with this episode. Adam, I figured we would go one by one and just sort of say what our albums are, man. What is your first album you're taking to this island with you, dude?
Well, first of all, I found this quite hard, to be honest, at first. Because when I started writing
Yeah,
a
it's
list...
a really hard question.
Yeah, I started writing a list, and I quickly found I was writing down my favourite albums, not an album I would take with me. Um, so I did put quite a bit of thought into this, actually. And my first one, I don't think it would be a massive surprise. It might be to a certain degree, but it's obviously a Chili Peppers album.
Yeah, nice, okay.
I mean, as you know, I'm a massive Chili Peppers fan. So are you. So is Hamby. I know you guys have spoke about them countless times in all the podcasts you've done together.
Yeah, loads of times.
I'm massively hyped for a new album. But this one is probably not my favourite Chili Peppers album, but it's probably one with the most variety, and that I could listen to over and over and over again, and I have. So this album is Stadium Arcadia.
Nice, yeah.
So the reason I chose this one really is, first of all, it's a big album anyway. It's a double disc.
It is 2-disc. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, 2-disc.
2 discs, 28 songs, and within those 28 songs, there's so much variety. Amazing solos, amazing songwriting, and just some really, really good moments throughout. And I'd say within those 28 songs, there's only maybe one or two that I wouldn't skip them, but I could do without.
Yeah. Give us one. Give us a track that you can do without.
Maybe If, off the second disc.
Yeah.
It's just like a little ditty, like a minute and a half long. Doesn't really add much to the album. Not to say it's bad, but to be honest, that's pretty much it. I can't say anything bad about it. I've listened to it so many times, and when I first got my first car, that album was just in the record player 24/7 driving that car.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
That's a great choice. Sorry, if anyone can hear my dog barking like crazy, it's because he is barking like crazy. I don't know why, but yeah, apologies for that if you can hear it. Yeah, man, that's a really good choice. I didn't think of the double albums. I thought of compilations and things like that, but yeah, that's a great choice. I also think that album is great.
Yeah, it is a great album.
Frusciante's on top form for it. Chili Peas are driving on all, blasting on all 4 cylinders or whatever the expression is. It's definitely like driving music, isn't it? It picks up and it just takes you there. It's a really good one.
I mean, this one obviously came out of By the Way, which I'm not sure it was their most successful because obviously Californication, but it was obviously one of their more successful ones. And it was more like somber, chill. Where Stadium Arcadia was like the complete opposite. So they turned it up to 11. They've gone balls out on every single song.
It's like power rock.
It is power rock, and even like the more sort of subtle tracks like Hey, Wet Sand, like the solos, like he whacks up to 11 again and cracks out like an amazing solo.
Wet Sand is one of those tracks where it's a tricky one for me because I really like it, but I'm not a big fan of it until it really gets there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's no, I am a fan of it. I just think it's sort of interesting chord structure and stuff. And then, when you get to that solo, you have to turn it up. You have to make your eardrums bleed because it's just so good. You
got to feel it.
You got to feel it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm so pumped to go see Chili Peas. You are also seeing Chili Peas.
I can't wait.
But you went to Manchester, man. What's that about?
I don't know. I think, I don't know. To be honest, I'm disappointed we're not in Birmingham. It would have been so much more convenient.
What the hell's that about? We could all stayed at mine.
Exactly, I know. And I don't know why we haven't got more dates for the UK, to be honest, because people are literally gagging to go see them. Because it's been so long, and also because of Frusciante coming back.
Yeah, man. There are some fantastic tracks off that. I love some of the ones that aren't so sort of immediately recognisable. You've got your Snows, you've got your Danny Californias. I really love... oh my god, I can't remember it. Oh, Especially in Michigan is one of my
mate, it was so awesome. It's so awesome in that song.
Yeah, love it. It's probably because it's Chili Peppers doing a stereotypical 4-chord song.
Yeah.
But they just do it really well. Yeah. Great choice, man. Really great choice.
I do agree though. Like you said, you got your Danny California, you got your hit singles that everybody's heard. Even if you haven't heard of the Chili Peppers, they've heard those songs.
Yeah.
But it is like the deeper cuts in there, like Death of Martian,
Death
Turn
of
It Again, Animal Bar.
Yeah.
You know, just so many good songs.
Storm in a Teacup.
Yeah, another great one.
Great tracks. Okay, so my first pick is very similar. So if you have listened to the podcast where we talk about the episode of favourites, the sort of hour and a half where me and Hamby just talk about shit that we loved, albums was on there, and we both said what our favourite album was. And although, you know, like, what is your sort of favourite? It can change depending on your mood and stuff. But I feel like you have to sort of, in this job, you have to like lock it in a favourite. So you've got that for an answer. And I feel like I would be sort of swindling. I spoke at length about how much I love this album, and I feel like I would be swindling my fans if I didn't choose this album to take with me. So I am taking Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
I knew it. I knew it. I just knew it.
Yeah, it's, as I said before, I don't need to go into it loads, but it's just, the whole album makes me smile every time I hear it. It's so raw, it's so powerful. I love every single, it's almost like the whole album is one big track.
Yeah, it just flows.
It's one of those like Axis Boulder's Love albums where every song has got the same feel as the one before it. And yeah, I just love it. I can listen to it forever.
It's a cheeky album as well.
It gets you like pumped. It can make you chill. It can do everything. Love that album.
No, I completely agree. I remember listening to that when I was probably about, I don't know, like 9 years old.
Yeah.
And like,
oh yeah, by the way, for anyone, I forgot to say, if you're just tuning into this, it's an album by the Chili Peppers.
Yeah. It was the album that put them on the map, really.
Yeah.
No, it was a big album at the time. You know, it was early 90s. Yeah. When you got so many big bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, you know, all competing for that top spot, really.
Yeah. All in like the same 10 days or something?
Yeah. It's a massive group of like hugely successful albums coming out really close. But yeah, I remember listening to it when I was about 9 years old for the first time. And,
oh, damn.
You know, 20 years later, nearly, you listen to it now, you're like, damn, those lyrics. Like,
yeah.
I shouldn't have been listening to those, but I did.
Especially me and Hamby spoke at length in the last pod, or one of them, I can't remember, about Sir Psycho Sexy.
Oh, yeah.
And, very descriptive.
It's filth.
Let's just say that.
It's just filth all the way through.
It is pure filth. Yeah.
Lyrics and musically, it's filth.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I love about that album. It's so powerful. It's down. It's dirty. It's the sound of it is raw but hard. I don't know. If you're into music, you'll sort of understand what I mean by those words. But that's the only way I can describe it.
I'd also say
it packs a punch.
I'd also say, like you said before on the episode about your favourites, it probably is my favourite album ever.
Yeah.
Not just the Chili Peppers album, but I think that album, I've got sort of like a time and a place when I can listen to it.
Yeah.
Where Stadium Arcadium I could put on at any time.
Yeah.
Just jam out to any
Stadium
of the songs.
Arcadium can be background music. But like I said to Hamby, Give It Away is one of the most overplayed Chili Pepper songs of all time.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But as soon as I hear that... Yeah, I'm just like, I'm stopping what I'm doing and I'm, nodding the head bopping. I'm with it.
I had a phase where I was like, I hate this song. Like, I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
And then something clicked. I was like, I love this song again.
Yeah, it's just so good. Whenever it comes on the shuffle, like, I mean, we were listening to Planet Rock at work today, and like Breaking the Girl came on.
Yeah, that's a great song.
That's a great song. Just the whole album. The whole album is what I'm taking. So that's my first choice.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
What is your second choice?
So, I think my next two I've got anyway. I think, I think they'll both be surprises, to be honest.
Okay.
I'll go for more of a shocker. So, I mean, I know me and you haven't both liked this band. I don't know if it's changed since we last spoke about them. I mean, I've been into him for a long time, and I know you haven't.
I think I know who it is. I bet I can. I bet I know what album it is as well. But carry on.
Okay, I mean, I'll be interested to see if you are right, but this album is Brothers by the Black Keys.
I got the band. I didn't get the album.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Black Keys now.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was a time and a place where you weren't a fan at all.
I'm still not a fan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have tried. And there is a few songs that I've heard, and I've gone, hey, what's this? And I'm like, oh, it's Black Keys, And then they did the re-release of El Camino, and I watched a couple of the videos of that man just dancing or whatever that they released. I'm just not into it, unfortunately.
I think, again, this is a similar situation for Chili Peppers, where I wouldn't say it's my favourite Black Keys album. This is sort of where they sort of hit their peak, really, where they were like a low sort of garage band, real dirty blues rock, lo-fi recordings. Made a few albums, started getting a bit of success, got a record deal, and then this was their second album they made. And this is where they sort of blended that sort of garage rock with like the polished studio recordings and producing.
Right, yeah.
And I think they knocked it out of the park. I know it's like a massively successful album anyway.
I'll give it a listen. For you, I will give it a listen.
It's fucking awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I love this album. Every single song on this album is an absolute banger from start to finish.
I'll check it out then, because at the moment I'm in the process where I'm currently finding like a new band every day, and I'm very susceptible to new things at the minute. So I'll give it a listen. I'll give it a listen on my way to work tomorrow.
I'll send you some recommendations over, because I don't know what you've listened to and what you haven't. But I know for a fact if you started earlier on in their discography, you'd probably find something you'd like.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Because there are some like real gritty, dirty blues songs. But like I said, this is where they sort of polished it, but kept that sort of their roots. Every single song is absolutely amazing. Like I couldn't even say one I wouldn't have in there. And they've recently I say recently, about 2 years ago, they released the 10-year anniversary edition. They've added some more songs in, which again, great songs. But this one, since I first heard it, I think their probably most played song is called Tighten Up. You've probably heard.
Maybe, but I don't know it by name.
Yeah, you would have heard it, trust me. And I heard that, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool song. Found out what album it was on, and then bought it from HMV. Like, that's back in the days.
Yeah.
Just sat there, listened to it, and I was like, this is awesome. And now, 12 years later, it holds up, and it's another one I had in my car.
Okay,
it's another one I had it.
All right, well, yeah, I am actually pretty ready for it. I'm looking forward. I will listen to the whole album on the way to work tomorrow.
Okay,
and I'll let you know what I think.
Okay,
yeah, I'm ready for it.
Well, I won't go into more detail about that. But yeah, I'll send you some recommendations over.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that.
I will try and get you into them because.
Okay.
I mean, what have you heard?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what the songs are called or anything. It's just like when I've been scrolling and I've seen like a little video clip or something, or maybe it's played on the radio and I've heard it, but I don't know who it is or anything. So honestly, I don't know. I'll just start as a newbie.
Yeah, I think it's almost like
I think actually what I tried to listen to El Camino. I was like, everybody says that's amazing, and I didn't get far into it.
No, El Camino's it was the album after this one, and it was more sort of, it's not sell out, but because it is a good album, I do like it. But it's very more like bubblegum sort of radio pop for like the more casual
Maybe that's
listener.
why I didn't like it. Yeah,
and then that came out, and a lot of people were either like, "Oh, this is amazing," or these guys are sold out and they're shit now.
Yeah.
And then the album after that, they took it back to their roots a bit more.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out. So you've gone for like a power rock, funk rock album. What genre would you say the Brothers is?
It's like blues rock with like soul. It's like bluesy rock soul, I'd say.
So what are you doing on the island as you're listening to this album?
Oh, well, that was a question I didn't prepare for. I mean, this one, to be honest, it's very sort of like mellow. Like, it's not like driving rock. It is literally, great guitar leads, real good vocal hooks. I'd just be lying there chilling on the sand, looking at the sunset,
cool.
listening to this bad boy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there listening to that album. Nice, man. Good choice. I mean, I don't know it, but like, it's a good choice, and I will listen to
Next week's podcast will be going like, oh yeah, that was a good
I'll be
recommendation.
like, Black Keys, man.
I love him, man. What
Black
tickets?
Keys t-shirt, tat, yeah, tickets to go see him, yeah, man. Okay, my next pick is gonna be one that maybe you won't see coming.
Ooh.
As you know, and as everybody knows who listens to this podcast, I just love music. I love all music. Music makes me feel anything, and that's, I believe, like the job of music is to stir feelings within you. Therefore, I can listen to anything from, like, you know, synthwave, electro pop, you know, all the way to like black death doom metal. You know, I just love music. And I really love classical music.
Ooh, okay.
I probably don't say it a whole lot. I just really love classical music. I love film scores.
Yeah, I do love good.
I know
film
you
score.
do as well. Yeah. So I thought, right, I've got the funk rock. You know, I need something I can relax to. So I thought, what about? I know we're going to go through honorable mentions in a bit, but this ties in. I thought, what about the Lord of the Rings? You know, motion picture soundtrack. But then I was like, well, actually, there's only on that whole soundtrack, there's a lot of really great moments in songs, but there's also a lot of like, da, 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 and I was like, you know, I can't be chilling to that. So
it's very dramatic.
Okay, classical, maybe, yeah, I thought classical, maybe opera, and then I thought, I know, right? My favourite operatic singer is the tenor Andrea Bocelli. And I'll just say that again because as I said that, Adam dropped his head.
My head fell out. The worst time possible.
My favourite opera singer is a tenor called Andrea Bocelli.
Okay.
He's massively popular. He's one of the ones that most of people have heard of. He's got loads of albums that I really love, but I couldn't pick, so I just picked an album called Vivere, Andrea Bocelli's Greatest Hits.
Oh, compilation.
It's just so great. There's some really stirring moments. There's some very sweet moments. He's got a voice that will just melt your heart. Like his voice is just so amazing. Like I don't know if he's the blind guy.
Yeah, I know of him. I mean, I've heard the odd song when he's like appeared on something, or they've played one of his songs, but I couldn't name you a song.
He's done his version of Conte Partero with Sarah Brightman, you know.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, man. And he's got one called The Prayer with Celine Dion. He's got one with Ariana Grande called Più di Penso. Yeah, which is great. He's got one with Christina Aguilera called I can't think of the one with Christina Aguilera. He's got one with Stevie Wonder, which is really good.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, really cool. So some of it's like smooth jazz. It's not all like classical, but then some of it really is big, stirring classical things. And the guy's voice is just so sweet. I can imagine being on the island. It's twilight, you know, maybe sun's just gone down, stars are twinkling. I'm sipping a pina colada or something, and I'm just literally just looking up at the stars, you know, listening to a bit of Andrea Bocelli. Super relaxing. Love it. Love his music.
No, that's a great choice, to be honest, mate. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
But it just shows how, you know, different music you can relate to and has an impact on you.
It was incredibly hard choosing 3 albums. You know, 10 albums. It still would have been hard. Like I have music, as you do, as you have your playlist. I've got my mega playlist, and excuse me, I'm still hiccuping from that beer.
Did it taste good?
I have that playlist playing. I have that playlist playing all day long in my house, all day,
really?
All night. That playlist is playing. Yeah, me and Fee love music, and we just have it playing the whole time, you know. And at one moment it'll be like, you know, acoustic jazz or something. Then the next moment it'll be like Finnish heavy metal, you know. Then it'll be like Mongolian throat singing or something like, yeah. Yeah, we just love music, and I love music, and it was hard to tell, but I tried. The reason I asked was, what are you doing? Is because I tried to think, what am I going to be doing on this island, So I'm going to be listening to Vivere by Andrea Bocelli, relaxing, sipping a pina colada.
And then a rescue boat turns up to rescue you.
And I'm like, turn around. Yeah, I'm good, honestly. Drop off some more albums, but turn around.
No, that's an interesting choice. Very interesting.
Yeah, I can send you a couple of tracks if you like.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
You're not familiar. As I say, you'll really love the one with Stevie Wonder.
Top notch.
Yeah, top notch. Dude, we are on the last album, so I don't know if you, like me, had a few that you couldn't decide between. So maybe run through some runner-ups and then give it to us.
Well, I mean, I just realised, to be honest, looking at my list, most of these were released in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And a sort of like similar sort of genre. And it's not because that's all I like. It's just, if I was going to go to a desert island and that's all I had, this would be it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
So I've got two honourable mentions. I could have made like a massive list.
Yeah, I've got like 4 honourable mentions.
And the way I've sort of thought about this list in the first place really is when I've gone on a plane or I've flown somewhere, what have I just stuck on, fallen asleep to, woken back up and it's playing again the second time round, and I'm still digging it. I'm still like, I want to listen to this again. Yeah. And this album is definitely one of those albums.
So is this isn't like an honourable mention?
This is an honourable mention, yeah.
Okay.
It's an honourable mention, and I mean, it could have gone on the list, but it's missed out. So this album is by Mr. Charles Bradley, and the album is No Time for Dreaming. So
no time for the dreaming.
Yeah, dreaming. You gotta get on up.
Yeah,
you gotta do your thing. Bam. This album, I mean, I only came across this guy the last few years. And he's fucking awesome.
He is.
He sadly passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's sort of like a James Brown type guy.
He is.
Like old school, sort of like soul funk singer.
Soul, yeah.
So like really soul-y, like gravelly voice that like hits you.
Yeah, he can do that thing where he's like.
Yeah, he like properly hits you in the gut. And I think some people would either love it or hate it, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was reading about this guy when I first came across him, and he had quite a sad sort of upbringing, really. Like he was like, like a really, really like poor family, had like loads of shit jobs, and I don't think he got like any sort of success till he was like in his 60s.
Yeah, I read
which is like crazy because like he was super talented, and I don't know who found the guy, but like thank God they did because he's fucking badass.
Yeah.
But this album is one of those again, like Brothers. It's just got so many good songs on it. Every single one is a great song.
What's his band called? Is it like the Minahan Street Band?
Yeah, the Minahan Street Band.
That's it.
And they were just like a very sort of instrumental band, and somebody, I don't know who, just sort of merged the two together, and it works so well. And the music's really great, the vocals are great, and I mean, someone could say, "Oh, it's a bit samey," because it is, soul the whole way through.
Yeah.
But he does it so goddamn well.
Yeah, definitely. Agree with that.
And
that's a great album.
If you haven't heard any of his other songs either, or albums, I'd definitely recommend them.
I think I've got 2 or 3 of his albums, along with the Lucifer single, in my playlist. Yeah, really good.
It's really good. And it's just a shame.
I like some of the ones as well where they're instrumentals, because I really like just the music.
Yeah, same. And there's quite a few like live videos on YouTube as well. Not many.
Yeah.
And the music again is just top notch. The guitarist is
you're
great.
right. He's one of those guys who is like, classic soul man. Come out and put a towel over him after his song, kind of James Brown style.
I mean, to me, he's sort of like Greta Van Fleet is sort of bringing back Led Zeppelin, that classic vibe from the 70s. He did sort of bring back that soul from the 60s and 70s, but he was from that era anyway. Just brought it back later in his life.
Yeah. That's one of the big to go off point. That's one of my big criticisms of Greta Van Fleet which luckily they have sort of remedied with their second album. But yeah, give us another honourable mention, dude.
I mean, I went into so much detail there. That could have been one of my actual albums.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I know. Yeah, that was just an honourable mention.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other one, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy or not, but me and Hannah love it.
Yeah.
I mean, Hannah's my girlfriend. Obviously, you know Hannah really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got very different music tastes. You know, she likes more popular music, and I hate pop music.
Yeah, same.
And like, someone comes up every now and again, you're like, "Oh, that wasn't a bad song," but
yeah,
you know, their discography.
Did you hear that song recently called Anthony Kiedis that was on Radio 1 or whatever? It's literally, the song's called Anthony Kiedis. Sorry to go off point, but it's me and Hamby joke about it all the time because the only thing that's got anything to do with it is that the singer says like, "I love my family, dynamic, like Anthony Kiedis," and then it goes like, "I love my family intrinsically, like a red hot chili pepper." So now me and Hamby just say to each other all the time, we just go, "Like a red hot chili pepper."
I'll have to give that a listen.
What the hell's that about? Yeah, no, or don't. You're not missing out.
I want to hear that lyric now. I want to hear it played out as it's meant to be. But this album anyway, is by a guy called John Pardy. Don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yes, man. Love John Pardy. Hell yeah.
I freaking love him, man. He's so good.
Yeah.
And he's got so many good albums. But this one, I know with your like album playlists or your playlist on Spotify, you add like a whole album, don't you? I add
the whole album.
I add like songs from albums. Like I want it to be like a tailored play. I mean, I've got thousands of songs in there.
Yeah.
But I want it to be like, if a song comes on, I don't want to skip it. I just want to have it on shuffle constantly. Yeah. And this whole album is in the playlist because every single song is fantastic. It's California Sunrise.
Yes, man. That's a great album.
It's a fantastic album.
Yeah, really like him. He perfectly does that like pop country.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice as well.
He's got a great voice.
Me and Fee often sing his songs out loud.
Yeah, I mean, if we're in a car journey together, like he's on. Every single of his albums are played for me and Hannah together. And we both love him.
One of my favourite lyrics from him is "Little dirty dancing, blue collar romancing. I can get cleaned up if you ask me, but I can only get so fancy.
Got a little dirt
on my boots." Yeah, man, such a great track.
I mean, Hannah used to say she thought it was blood on my boots. Got a little bit of blood on my boots. I was like, no.
Fucking hell.
Duh.
Have you heard his Wherever I May Roam, Metallica?
I have, yeah. I have heard it. It's good.
Very cool.
Very, very good.
I wish he did more stuff like that, honestly.
I think he's got... I mean, I know he's big in America, especially in the country scene. He's massive.
Yeah.
But, like, I haven't... No, I know you're really into music, obviously, as well. There's not many people, like know him over here at all.
Yeah. I think he is creeping into the mainstream massively. Especially when I saw... I mean, I'm not into Metallica, but I looked at that, Blacklist... is it called Blacklist? Black Album.
Black Album tribute, yeah.
Tribute
it's like
thing,
an album tribute.
Yeah, to see who was featuring on it. And, you've got Ghost, you've got some bands I love, you've got Miley Cyrus, that one is amazing, because I'm a big Miley boy over here. But, yeah, then I saw John Pardy, and I was like, what the fuck? So I had to listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think... Who else is on there? I mean, there's a lot of big artists on there. But I think it's Chris Stapleton's on there as well. And he's another big country.
Yeah, country boy.
I love as well. I love him.
Okay, so your picks so far, you've got Stadium Arcadium by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You've got Brothers by the Black Keys. Couple of honourable mentions, California Sunrise by John Pardy and...
No Time for Dreaming.
No Time for Dreaming by Charles Bradley. What is the number one? Well, not the number one. What's the last album you're taking with you?
Yeah, so none of these have been in any particular order at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
This one, I know you like this album as well. I don't know how high you rank it. I think it was probably you that recommended it to me in the first place. But this album was released in 2008. It was recorded in 2007. It's a live album.
Right.
So,
yes, I know it.
Yeah, so it's Where the Light Is by John Mayer, live in Los Angeles.
Nokia.
Yeah, Nokia Theatre.
I haven't got that on mine, but that's a hell of a choice, man.
This album, I mean, to be open my eyes, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I knew John Mayer anyway, just because he's a big
Yeah.
artist,
Yeah.
and he's a great guitar player. I mean, he's been to loads of Crossroads festivals with Clapton and
Yeah.
so on,
Yeah.
and that's how I sort of knew of him. But like, I remember like trying to get into him, and it's like he's got a lot of like poppy songs, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? And weirdly that you've mentioned it, right? Because this is actually going to be a topic for a future episode that I'm going to get somebody on. I'm not going to say anything about it now. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I always was like, John Mayer writes music for like young girls.
Young girls, yeah.
You know, like he doesn't have anything for me. And it was my friend Ben who was like, you're wrong. And for like maybe 2 years, Ben was like, just listen to it, please, just listen to it. And Fee went away, she went travelling around Australia, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to slap it on. And honestly, it was like eyes opening wide.
Yeah, massively.
And in return, to thank Ben for recommending him, I gave him a framed John Mayer like guitarist picture, because I was like, mate, honestly, thank you so much.
It is so good. And I mean, him in general, but this album is great. It's got a lot of his big songs on here as well.
Yeah.
Where the recorded version, you can listen to it and go, as in like the album produced recording, it's a bit bubblegum pop, you know, it hasn't got a lot of depth to it. And then it's like he opens up like a whole other door with this album.
Yeah.
And like this song you hated, it sounds amazing now.
Yeah, definitely. So much power. He really shows off his skill when it comes to guitar, because he is a phenomenal guitar player.
So good.
And this album is over, you know, it's well over 10 years old at this point.
It's about 17 years old now, something like that.
I would say that it is the only... Yeah, John Mayer's still going, and his latest album, Sob Rock, actually is pretty good.
It's good, it's really good.
Really good, actually, yeah. I know that Ash, my good friend Ash Penman... Hey, Ash, I know you're listening to this. He loves that album, and it's not his sort of music at all.
I love it.
He loves that album. But yeah, it's the only John Mayer album you will ever need.
It is.
Where the Light Is.
And the thing is, this album came out at a time in his career as well where I think he'd done about 3 or 4 albums at this point, maybe a little bit more. And it was sort of that stage where he was sort of like made out to be like bubblegum pop with a bit of an edge.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You listen to the songs from those early albums, you're like, oh yeah, it's like for high school girls.
Yeah.
And then like he cracked out Continuum a couple of years before this, I think. And that album is one of my favourite albums. It's great from start to finish. I could have put that album on this list, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the best songs from that album are on here with like a guitar solo 10 times better.
Yes. Yeah.
And the blues songs on here, he's just jamming out. It's so good.
Oh God, yeah, the bluesy stuff. It's weird because it's almost divided into sections.
It is,
The first quarter of the album, you've got like all the acoustic stuff. Then it's like, then he plugs in and you get like his, you know, balls out solo-y stuff. You get the bluesy stuff, rocky stuff. Yeah, it's great. Like, that version of Gravity is just
it's so
powerful.
Good. It's so
good.
Just builds up.
Have you heard there's a version that he did with Alicia Keys where he's playing in like Times Square or something, and they play, you know, that song by Alicia Keys that's like, Some People Want It All or something. I don't know what the song's called.
Okay.
Do you know the one I mean?
It's not a New York song.
Some people want it all.
Oh yeah, I have seen that actually. Yeah, now you've started singing it. I have watched it.
So they play that, and like she's like John Mayer, and then it goes into Gravity, and there's the two of them doing it together, and it's like
it's amazing. And the thing is with Gravity as well, I'd heard Continuum years ago, and heard that song. I was like, it's alright, you know, it's nothing special on the album.
Yeah.
On this, it's like amazing.
It's weird because after this album came out, I obviously stayed... Well, I mean, I didn't listen to this album when it came out. I was late, really late coming to it. I then went to listen to some of his other stuff, and like I went straight into the album... I don't know what it's called, but it's the cover is white, and he's got like flowers around him, and he's like a drawing.
Born and Raised.
Yeah. No, it's not Born and Raised. Born and Raised is... That's where he's like standing in a field or something.
No, that's Paradise Valley in the field. Born and Raised is all the flowers.
Raised, and there's a song on there called like "Still Feel Like Your Man" and like emoji of a wave and stuff. And I was like, "What is this? This isn't for me," you know.
Oh, that's for Search of Everything. That is. That was his last album before Sob Rock.
Yeah, and I was like, it's gone back to being like, still feel like you man.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is this? You know, where's the power? And then, yeah, he's brought it back with Sob Rock, which is like an 80s ballads inspired.
That album, though, you just said about Research for Everything, on the flower on the front. Like, it's a weird album because it's got stuff like that, like Still Feel Like Your Man. I mean, it's got Helpless on there, which is probably one of his best songs.
Okay.
If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's like the third or fourth track on the album.
I have listened to it, but I don't remember enjoying it very much.
It's proper funk rock with awesome solos. And then towards the end, he's got like some proper country songs on there, like Rolling On Home.
Yeah, there's some instrumental ones on there as well.
It's just weird because, I mean, he had a giant shift like in his career somehow. He went from like making these like pop songs to making like a full on amazing country album.
Yeah.
And then it was like he made another country album that wasn't as good to like this weird album with a bit of country, a bit of pop, a bit of funk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's brought out Sob Rock, which, I mean, I love it. I agree with Ash. It's a badass album. The only thing I wish is that it was longer.
Yeah.
I just wish it was longer because about half the songs on that album were out as singles before he released the album.
Yeah, yeah. And they're all really short.
Yeah.
Really short tracks as well.
But Wild Blue, that's the song.
Wild Blue, Last Train Running.
Last Train Home.
Last Train Home, yeah. What's the one? Carry Me Away, is that on that album?
Carry Me Away, Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, some good tracks.
It's a good album. I just wish it was really longer. Good.
Mate, that is a banging choice for your Desert Island. I have to say, I forgot completely about that From Where the Light Is, and it's really good.
Thank you. I'm literally buzzing to hear yours.
So it's not as good, man. It's not as good as that. I still haven't actually decided. I think I know what I'm going to go with, but I wrote down like about 5 albums, and I'll quickly run through them now. I'm not going to go in depth on each one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went into more depth in those than the actual ones I chose on the list.
They're great albums, though, and it's good because I feel like a lot of our listeners may not have heard of them.
Yeah.
So it's great that we sort of explain that.
I'm always here to help.
The ones I've looked at are fairly big albums, so I was like, what about Rumours by Fleetwood Mac? You know,
good album.
It's a great album. It's
very
a great
good album.
And then I was like, but the thing is I love that album, but I'm not that big on Fleetwood Mac. You know, like I just really like that.
I know that album is like iconic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Love Stevie Nicks. Love the Lindsey Buckingham. I just love the sound of that album.
Everything came together on that album to make.
Yeah,
it was like the perfect time.
Yeah. Then I thought, what about The Boss? What about Born to Run?
Ooh, that's a very good album. I do love that.
That's a good album. That's a good, I can't help but hear Born to Run and not just be like,
yeah, it gets you going.
Like, it does get you going, yeah. And then I was like, well, actually, what about Graceland by Paul Simon?
Again, very good album.
Very cool, very different, very cool. It was the sort of South African inspired.
Had a lot of different vibes going on.
Yeah, definitely. And there are a lot of tracks on that I genuinely do love.
50 Shades to Leave Your Lover is a badass album.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love I Know What I Know and stuff like that. I love the sort of African singing in it. Like I think was it Ladysmith Black Mamboza, which is a sort of South African band, sing on a couple of those tracks. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, and then Call Me Al, obviously, is a banging track. Then I was like, hang on, let's take it back. Let's go influential. What about Axis Bold as Love?
I didn't even think about that.
Jimi Hendrix. I know that probably more people prefer Are You Experienced, which is his first album, but Axis just gets me. It's like the original album where every track just rolls perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to choose one out of 3, it would be Axis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Axis. It's got a great sound. That It's just that tone. I can't even describe it.
It's just Little Wing. Little Wing is beautiful.
Yeah, Little
It's
Wing.
a beautiful song.
One of the most, if not the most influential song of all time.
And it's like literally 2 minutes long, and you just want it to be longer and longer and longer, and it just fades away.
That's why I love a lot of the covers where they just make it go on for like 5 minutes.
Stevie Ray.
Some people like my dad are like, blasphemous, you can't mess with that. But then like Stevie Ray, amazing. Carlos Santana's one with Joe Cocker, amazing. There's so many covers of Little Wing that are really good. G3 did a badass cover of it. Satriani, Vi, and I think it was John Petrucci or someone. And then I was like, well, what am I listening to right now that I love? And I don't know if you've been listening to I know you have been listening to the podcast. You heard me mention Volbeat recently?
I have heard a few songs, actually, because we had that playlist, didn't we? With a few of us in, where we were adding songs.
Yeah.
And they're they were like country-esque, weren't they?
Yeah, like, so weird, because they're from the Netherlands, but they are like boogie woogie country metal.
Yeah,
folk.
it's a really weird blend.
And they've got a song called Lola Montez, which is literally me and Fee's anthem at the moment. We just sing it. Listen to it just before I started this podcast. It's so good. But actually, I thought, what album am I really into at the moment? And there's an album by Volbeat called Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie.
Okay.
And it's just got a great sound. It's like, it's heavy, but it's got like a lot of country, a lot of banjo on there. And the guy sings amazingly. Like, I'll send you, I think you might have heard Lola Montez. Maybe you've heard a couple of those tracks, but yeah, so I thought, okay, well, I love that album at the minute, and they have a great sound. And then I was like, okay, I think I know. I haven't got anything in my list of albums, so I've got Blood Sugar Sex Magic and the Chili Peas and Vivere by Andrea Bocelli. I need something that I could just sing to until my voice gets raw, and I thought, I know, Greatest Hits by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Oh, it's a great album. So many good songs on it.
I could have gone with the individual albums, and I was going to ask you beforehand, are Greatest Hits allowed? Compilations albums?
I'd say so,
allowed?
yeah.
But that just has every single song on that album. I know all the words to. It isn't my favourite album. Tom Petty isn't my favourite artist, but I can just sing to every single one of those tracks, and I can just imagine myself one too many pina coladas singing Mary Jane's Last Dance, or Learn to Fly, or
is it Breakdown?
Breakdown.
I love that song.
Refugee.
Apartment Song. That's a great one as well.
Yeah. I Won't Back Down.
Oh, I won't back
down. Just so good. I can sing every single song, and I think Tom Petty just had it as being a great songwriter.
In regards to whether the Greatest Hits albums count or not, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's not about... If you said, what was your favourite album, and you said, it was Tom Petty Greatest Hits, I'd be like, no, it doesn't count. It's not an album. But it totally counts to this. And
I could tell you an album by Tom Petty. It would be... I can't remember what it's called, but it's like white and red, and he's just stood there with a guitar. Genuinely can't remember what it's called now. I can picture it perfectly. But Greatest Hits, because it obviously has all of the hits on there, and like you say,
isn't it just called? What is it? The pink one, or?
You know what? Everyone, oh no, I can't do it. My computer's so slow. I can't search for it on there.
I know he's got quite a few where it's a classic like 70s, 80s where he just stood there with guitar by himself.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like it. And you know what else? I just thought honorable mention. I didn't put any Eagles in there. Which is,
the Eagles' Greatest Hits.
But yeah, great. beforehand as well, I was thinking maybe about like a now 80s, like 300 tracks of 80s music or something. But no, I'm going with Greatest Hits by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Many great songs.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I just think, like you said, these aren't my favorite albums. They are just albums for being stuck on a desert island, and I can see myself singing that, and I can't see myself ever getting tired of singing those songs.
No, I've had many phases actually, where I put that on over and over, and you just singing it, and you just I'm not even a massive Tom Petty fan, but this collection of songs is good.
I just think, every time Mary Jane's Last Dance starts, I'm just always like, she grew up on an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama, never was around. It just comes out. Like I can't stop.
With that song though, it was like the verse is badass, and it goes to the chorus. You're like, oh, the chorus, like.
Oh, I love the chorus.
I used to hate that song because I was like, oh, the chorus sucks. And I was like, oh, you know what? The chorus isn't that bad, but it's just not as good as the verse. But usually it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Usually the chorus was awesome. It's rocky.
I really love the chorus. I really like that. Last dance for Mary Jane. Na, 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 na. He's always singing about this town or something, Tom Petty. He's always like, gotta get out of this town or something.
He lives in some sort of shithole somewhere.
I just thought about American Girl as well.
Yeah,
one of the things I love about Tom Petty, is his backing vocals.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if ever American Girl is playing, even if me and Fee are just on in the background, as soon as that bit comes on, me and Fee both look at each other and go, "Make it last all night." that like backing vocal line. So great. It
is great, and my bad, my earphone fell out again there.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good choice, mate. That's a really, really good choice.
So hopefully, our desert islands are relatively close, so that maybe we can do some trades. Maybe we can swap some albums to keep things fresh. But yeah, great choice, man. Great choices.
No.
What would your picks for a desert island be? Send an email, dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message and let us know what albums you would take, or just give us a little song, just sing part of it, and we'll try and guess what it is or something next time Adam's on. Speakpipe.com/dudewhatpodcast. What you can do, if you want to, you totally don't have to, is go to buymeacoffee.com/dudewhatpodcast. Throw us a quid. We'll really appreciate it. You don't have to, obviously. Or, if you're feeling super adventurous, you can sign up to our membership, which is £2 a month, and you get absolutely nothing for it. So, just do that if you want, I guess. Whatever. The perk is that you can, suggest things to us, but you can just do that anyway through email. So
you got to give these guys some sort of perk for being a member.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe. We do need to work on it. I was talking to some people, and they were like, "What about special episodes and stuff?" And I was like, "I don't want to do any more episodes. It already takes up my evenings." Not so much now that we've sort of condensed Dude What, but yeah.
Condensed an hour and 40 minutes later.
An hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, the first half an hour talking about dogs, but yeah. You can get us on Instagram @DudeWhatPodcast. I'm trying to think if we're on Facebook now. We are on Facebook.
I didn't know that.
It got set up a couple days ago. We have one follower, and it may or may not be me. But yeah, we're on Facebook. Search Dude What, or maybe Dude What Podcast, or just Dude What. But search us. It's exactly the same as our Instagram. There's nothing else going up there. Adam, it's been a really great episode. I think we should probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think so. We've gone in a lot of detail.
For sure. Hoping to have you back at some point over the next few weeks. I will have another topic of conversation for you. Oh God, it's so hard trying to end a podcast. You sort of want to just keep talking.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's tricky, isn't it? I have really enjoyed it, though, to be honest.
Good.
It's good to talk about things you love.
definitely. And even things you hate, because, hey, you're passionate about that too.
Yeah, if you want to do a special about things I hate, I could do that too.
Albums that you would throw in a tyre fire.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a tyre fire albums list. Everyone, we'll be back, or I will be back next Tuesday for another episode of Do What Podcast. I will also be back on Friday, this coming Friday, for a live stream. Hopefully joined by Mr. Callum Hamby and Mr. Tomo Tomlinson. Adam, you're always welcome to join in on those live streams, and so are you at home. All you have to do is send us an email with your gamer tag or whatever, or if you have an Xbox, or if we play Warzone or something, add Dude What Pod gamer tag, and we'll fully just live stream with you. Be great to chat, play some games. So as I say, mate, you're always welcome to whenever.
Yeah, I think I will, to be honest.
Yeah. We usually have a pretty good time. We were playing the Aliens Fireteam Elite, and it's a shit game, but it was fun.
Is it on Game Pass, is it?
It is on Game Pass.
Okay.
Yeah. We just not going out and buying something.
I was going to say, that's commitment.
Yeah. Everybody, I have been Harry Dowlin, Harry D, your host. I've been joined by the one and only Mr. Adam Grizzly Bear Homer, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
See you later, dude. What?
Dude, what?